Hello, Steve White, Steve White 89. Well, I'm doing this little video because I'm kind of embarrassed. I just sort of wanted to confess something, for my sense of integrity. But over the years, there has been, obviously there's issues with Star Wars, the fan base is divided, and there's a lot of hate-mongering and so forth going on. And there was a lot of hatred for Kathleen Kennedy. And one of the things to support this, which always baffled me, was a campaign that she had, a slogan that she had, that the Force was female, and she actually was at a Star Wars event wearing t-shirts. She had t-shirts made up for other people at the event, women, to basically parade around saying the Force is female, which totally, couldn't be anything other than an attempt to alienate men and, basically make a very quote-unquote feminazi, statement and attack on males and male fans in the Star Wars fan base. And this was something that was brought up all the time in relation to Kathleen Kennedy, as proof that she hates men and that she is against, the fan base and trying to change Star Wars into this quote-unquote feminazi sort of agenda and woke agenda and everything. And I totally bought into that because she's there in the pictures wearing the t-shirt. I'm like, even if it was a joke, and she wasn't taking it seriously, and she was making fun of those men and that sort of controversy and that idea, because a lot of people had the idea that because Rey was leading the sequel films that obviously she wants the replacement, all that sort of stuff. So I at least thought it was at least a joke in poor taste, but as it turns out, all that seemed really ridiculous, and it was ridiculous because it never happened. The campaign was a Nike campaign for some shoes they had. I think it was called the Air Force shoes, and it was about empowering women, and she's a powerful woman, so naturally someone thought to invite her, and they thought they could make a play on words with the Force. And she showed up, and she wore the t-shirt, and she posed, and she had a bit of fun with it, and it was never some part of some anti-male Star Wars campaign or intention or anything. And the fact that people like Doomcock and Nerdrotic and all that continue to this day to use that as some sort of proof of her intentions and what she's done with Star Wars, I'm just so embarrassed that I fell for that. I didn't actually look for myself. I didn't do my own independent exploration of the truth, which everyone has to do with everything, because you can't trust anything anyone says, because I just stupidly believed that people would actually just find this out and mention it. No one would actually willingly perpetuate this lie and myth, but that's what it appears people have done. Now, is it possible one person lied about this campaign in the beginning and everyone else just did what I did and just assumed it was true and didn't look? Or did these people know that this was fake and they just deliberately used this for years to try and discredit Kathleen Kennedy? I'm guessing most of them knew and it's just part of the whole hate campaign, and they don't care about right or wrong. They don't care about good or bad or what's good for the community. They just want to divide the community to maintain a running argument so their videos get views, because that's how YouTube works. One thing I know as a content creator is you have to have continually have content and engage your audience, and I can't really do that. I just have a vlog, and most of these people who have very big channels and get a lot of money need to do this to keep the money rolling in. So they literally just make up stories to create a whole argument or a whole facade of something just to keep people engaged and keep sort of perpetuating the hate and keep feeding that base. They know what they want and they give it to them regardless of whether it's true or not, and they don't care about right or wrong. They just want to keep the money coming in from the advertising and so forth. So I'm obviously not one of those people, and I'm embarrassed that I got fooled by them, but I did go online and find all these like the campaign and the Nike campaign and the Nike t-shirts and everything, and people saying, oh my god, I can't believe 6 years later they're still saying this was a campaign by Kathleen Kennedy to alienate men and all that, and when it was a Nike campaign and all that. And I just feel really embarrassed that I didn't find that out sooner, and I didn't look into it, that I just assumed that. And I can't believe no one said anything. I never heard anyone say anything other than that story, that version, the story that it was her deliberately campaigning against men and showing this very divisive agenda with Star Wars. So I'm totally embarrassed by that. And now it's Star Wars Fury. Now, the video was about him, and they just mentioned this as it was a video by Turf Nation, I think it is. I've forgotten their name. And I didn't realise this guy. I've sort of watched his videos, and there are a few iffy videos here and there and a few iffy sort of statements, and I didn't think too much about it because I was there for him when Star Wars banned his video of copyright claims, and when one of the producers mocked him for crying when Luke Skywalker returned, because that was sort of his hero when he was dealing with cancer as a child, which was just appalling to do that. But apparently he's actually quite an alt-right, egotistical muscle guy, dude, bro, muscle car guy. Look at me in my look at me in my garage full of expensive cars, douchey sort of guy. And I didn't realize that he was like that. And he uses terms like, child mutilation to describe transgender affirming care and stuff like that. And I didn't realize he was part of that whole divisive hate sort of thing, because he didn't start off that way, but obviously he needs to keep his channel going and keep the cars rolling in, so that's what he does, and that's really disappointing. And I don't think I can support him now watching his videos now, but I just wanted to make a little video confessing that I was fooled by these people and by this sort of campaign, and I just had to say that.